everybody, Billy Watkins here with the Whole Package by Premier Packaging. Today we have some of the most common packaging items that you probably receive in the mail. And after a busy holiday season, when I know a lot of us are ordering a little bit extra online, we thought it might be enlightening to talk about some of these items that we provide. I'm joined today with by Chris Winfield.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
This is your second time on the podcast.
It is.
I
liked it so well the first time. I'm back for a second.
It took us a while to get you back, but I'm glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
So you are Vice President of Strategic Accounts.
That's me.
For Premier.
Yep.
You've been in the industry for 30 years. You've been at Premier forever.
That I have. I should know a little bit about these products, so I'm hoping to talk through that today, but you never know. No one knows everything.
No,
right?
But you know a little bit about everything.
Yes, little enough to be dangerous.
Do you ever think about, as you look back at a 30-year-long career in the packaging industry, if you had done it all differently, do you know what you might have done? You ever thought
car
about
sales were strong. Could have really worked my way up. Or forklift driving is, I'll say, is still one of my favorite positions in the company. Just working in the warehouse distribution, loved it. Loved stacking all the units, loading the trucks. So
you're working and you get to sit down.
That's right.
That's
right. And move a very easy vehicle to pick up, but just you got to be careful.
You got to be slow and steady.
Slow and steady
wins the race. A couple of things. Our crack team of investigators told me global retail, global like e-commerce retail, in terms of the industry, 6.3 trillion in 2023.
Big.
Yeah. They're talking about like a 28% increase by 2026, 8.1 trillion just in a couple of years.
Yeah, it's I believe e-commerce, as far as direct-to-consumer shipments, still make up somewhere less than 25% of overall retail. But you got to think in the last 10, 15 years, that's come from 5-10% of consumer products, delivered to purchased by consumers, to now 20 to 25% of everything that we own and consume is ordered and shipped online.
Huge growth.
Huge.
LEAP. I don't know when I was supposed to say this. LEAP. Do you know what that is? A little acronym. LEAP. Look excited. Another package. Look excited. Another package. LEAP.
Okay. So, now I know what LEAP means. I can see.
You see something.
It is so much of this is about customer experience.
Right.
Being excited upon similar to what you'd see on the retail shelf if you were in the store, but having that same experience at home. Opening the package.
Right. Poly mailers. We'll start there. What am I looking at? Which one's the poly mailer?
So these are poly mailers. The poly mailer is pretty interesting. I believe some of the first mailers to ship product were like the Tyvek envelopes and whatnot that you got from USPS or early UPS or FedEx.
Tyvek was huge for a while there. I don't know. Now I just see it. Now they just use it.
And it is. There's still a lot of Tyvek envelopes that are shipped, but it's a slower extrusion process.
Okay.
A little more costly, those type of things. But if you truly want to protect product, Tyvek's gonna get it done. But transition to poly mailers, these puppies right here, it's been a big part of e-commerce delivery and package delivery in the home. Mostly small, light goods, apparel, those type of things. The co-extruded poly mailer, which is what this is actually made up of a couple different layers of material, mostly low-density polyethylene, which kind of gives it its smoothness and its flexibility, but also with the additives makes it opaque, so you can't see the product.
Can't tell what's
regular poly bags obviously clear and you can see product and things like that. This is opaque, plus gives it its durability. One of the things with the poly mailers, it's really puncture proof.
Right.
You cannot, it's going to take a pretty sharp object
and I'm
to
assuming,
kind of push through.
Waterproof, right?
Waterproof, absolutely waterproof. Now, maybe not 100%. You got to close it. You have some water resistant. Thank you. But it comes in, poly mailers, all different shapes and sizes. Again, mostly for apparel. Light product industry. The great thing about them is within a fulfillment center or a pack out scenario, they're very easy to pack out and to close up. You get a lot of flexibility with the size of the package. We talk a lot around here about dimensional weight and making the package as small as possible. If you put a smaller shirt in this envelope, you can then fold it over to seal it. Now you have half the package. We talked about durability. Printing, these are obviously plain.
But they can be very brandable.
They can be very, very brandable. People are now printing on the inside of these mailers.
Oh, wow.
They're printing on the outside. We at Premier do a lot of really neat stuff with the way we manufacture the mailer and do the put-ups. We can do double peel and seal.
Okay.
We can do these on wickets. So if you're at a pack station, they're sitting there, ready to be ready to be packed out. Easier to use in that type environment. We've even gone as far as making these release liners to where there's no cling. Okay. So you take this off and you can easily drop it or put it in the garbage. As someone who packs it out, you don't have that cling.
Right.
So it's just a simple poly shipping mailer, but there's a lot really in the engineering.
I'm not certainly not the brightest guy. It took me forever when I first started working here to know to find out what a wicketed bag was. People were ordering wicketed, and I had no idea.
Yeah, don't have wickets here in front of us to show, but it's okay. It was clingy, but you put this on a header with a metal wicket, and it can work right into a pack station where somebody can easily pack it out. We do that in house here at Premier.
And I mean, you've got several sizes there. How big? What's about the max size
you got about the max size we do is about a 24 by 30, which is pretty big. 24 wide, 30 long. But we've made poly mailers as large as 40 inches wide by 46, very large. You can put pillowcases, sheets, those type of things. Okay. Anything that you're just trying to cover up and make opaque for the consumer. You don't want to see it in a clear poly bag sitting on your doorstep, your porch.
Padded. Go ahead.
Well, before we go to padded, where really a lot of the industry's headed and where we're headed is paper.
Okay.
So looking at single or dual ply paper mailers in similar construction, either by themselves in a bulk environment, on wickets, multiple peel and seals. We're in the process of doing the same, but these puppies right here, these poly mailers are not curbside recyclable. That's one of the you got to drop them off at the store. They're recycling as a number 2 or number 4.
They're made of some recyclable material.
Made of some recyclable material. The multi-layers, they're putting X amount of what they call PCR, post-consumer recycled content. But
you either need to check with local recycling capabilities or most often you're just putting those in the trash. Yeah.
So that's really been the trend. A lot of the major retailers looking to get more recycled content in there. It's really forcing the recycled activities upstream. But if you do paper and you can, you have a product where you're not as concerned about water resistancy, it's maybe going in the mailbox, not on the doorstep, or doing different things, you could go to paper. It's more expensive.
Right.
But you can go to paper and have a curbside recyclable option. A lot of push in this direction.
Okay. Padded mailers.
Yes.
Which are in front of us here.
Yeah. Now you're taking these and making them, a mailer and making it padded. So there's a lot of activity in the padded space.
Hence the name. Padded mailers.
Unpadded, padded.
Padded. There you go. Obviously, when you want the protection, right?
That's when you want. So you're going to be using products like, something that's not soft lines, not apparel, smaller retail type items that are breakable and things. You're not going to be putting something too fragile, like glass or anything like that, in a padded mailer potentially. But any home goods that you need a little extra protection through the process. And it's not so much protection sitting on your porch, it's protection going through the parcel system.
Yeah.
Sitting in a bin of Gaylords or a bundle of boxes, on the one on the bottom is getting a lot of pressure.
Okay.
So those type of products that are small
And
but
what's the
not too
padding?
fragile.
What's the padding made up of? What is the? It's different, right?
Well, there's all kinds of options. So for years, most everyone used a bubble lined
Okay.
mailer, which we don't have a sample of today because it's kind of becoming archaic, if you will, a little bit behind. So a bubble, actually bubble wrap,
Yep. On the
lining the
inside.
mailer. Today, you're starting to see a transition to padded mailers using recyclable or dissolvable
Okay.
products.
This, I mean, it's got chopped up stuff in it, right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
You've got mailers now, protective padded mailers with chopped up stuff. You have what's new on the market. Pregis has a product that is it's actually an adhesive that grows to give padding, within the mailer
Okay.
that a lot of major retailers are starting to use. You're getting a lot of mailers new on the product with just any form of embossed paper, additional paper, loose paper, those type of things that are giving you that padding. But the whole reason is so that they're recyclable.
100% curbside. You
100
put them in
percent
your recycling bin, and you can feel good about
100%
yourself.
curbside.
Yeah.
Yesterday's mailers, I guess you could say, that were bubble wrap and poly lined. You couldn't separate them. They're going in the landfills. They're not getting recycled. Today and tomorrow's mailers are going to be 100% paper based
And is that
for recyclability.
is this push coming from? Is it coming from us as something that we can offer, or is it coming from our customers?
It's coming from the customer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's with, as we spoke about earlier, with online sales growing, with online retailers wanting to really minimize the amount of packaging that you're using at the doorstep, which is all part of that consumer experience. We've all had it where we've gotten too much packaging for a smaller item.
Certainly, yeah.
Everyone hates that.
Yep.
It's a poor customer perception. So getting those products into mailers that are more closely formed around the product and padded is starting to eliminate some of the poly products like void fill and packaging, even corrugated boxes and things like that. So it's making it smaller, but to have that, you need something curbside recyclable. You got a much better chance of getting this
Right.
than you do some of the bigger protective packaging and dunnages and things like that.
Makes sense. And I mean, it's never going to go. Maybe I've received one or two things this past holiday season that it was just it was the outer container.
Yeah.
They just shipped it as is, right? But I
right.
mean, that can't. You don't want everything sitting on your porch exposed like that, right? I would
No,
assume.
right. Like in the OEM box,
Yeah,
the
right.
original box or
Right.
something. Yes, you don't. They're trying to effectively find a way to reduce the amount of packaging, but you still got to protect the product.
Right.
You have to have a good customer experience, and you've got to keep costs down. I mean,
Yeah.
it's become a competitive space where costs are certainly a big part of the equation. But the padded mailers are transitioning to more different products, more paper-based, those type of things, where you can take out your product and just throw it right in the recycle bin.
Yeah.
And we offer all those at Premier. Plug for
a
Premier.
little bit of everything. Yeah. The corrugated box.
Yes.
My favorite. I
yes.
don't know if it's
Our
yours.
favorite.
Yes,
I mean, being
sure.
A manufacturer of all these products, we definitely like the corrugated box. It's been around a long time and it's not going anywhere.
I mean, it's strong. It can withstand.
Yes.
Just about anything you throw at it, or we can design it to that specification.
It has really withstood the test of time.
Yeah.
It's cheap product. It's light. It can be constructed in a way to where it can hold 10, 20, 30, 40, hundreds of pounds, depending on how you customize it and engineer it. It truly is. It's one of those things where it's going to be you're going to be really hard pressed to protect something, especially through the shipping environment, without using a corrugated
do it better
box.
than a corrugated
for products
box.
that need a corrugated box, for products that are a little bit bigger than can go in a mailer and those type of things, that aren't soft or aren't in maybe some retail pack that gives them some protection. Stuff that you have to have a corrugated box in, it's still the best option.
And also 100% recyclable.
100% recyclable.
I probably about 4 hours last week cutting down corrugated boxes. After that, they were an eyesore, and I had to use my neighbor's recycling bin. They hope they didn't notice, but yeah,
It is. I see people cutting them down, spending hours putting it in their bin. I see now people just accumulating them in the garage and then just throwing them out there
if you can leave them outside and let
yeah.
it rain for a while, then they're a
They will
lot
naturally,
easier.
yes.
You can kind of
Not
just let them.
maybe they are compostable eventually. But no, there's a big put. I mean, you're still recycling paper products and corrugated boxes at the tune of about 80% of what's actually made and put out there in the marketplace.
Wow.
Poly and these type things still less than about 8%.
Oh wow.
So it's the king when it comes to something that
sustainability
by
really.
most municipalities and states is going to be recyclable.
And starts off I mean, hugely recycled to begin
Yeah,
with, right? I mean,
it's
made out of
right.
Yeah.
I mean, you've definitely got 100% recycled content, papers and liner boards out there.
Yeah.
Most people are using 30 to 50, upwards of 70% content recycled material. Obviously, right? If you're
Right.
recycling 80%, but not as big of a put. People are wanting more on the poly side to make sure we drive the industry. This has always been that way.
Right.
You're always using X amount of recycled content to get your final result. But you know, the greatest thing about corrugated boxes is from a board combination standpoint, dealing with the product and the weight, you're highly customizable. And then of course the size, how you construct. There's all kinds of equipment. We have tons of equipment at Premier that can run a very small box to a very large box. I think we have some smallish type die cuts and all different types of finishes can be achieved. You know, whatever you're looking for. We've definitely seen the trend over the last 10, 15 years that people want a stronger consumer experience when it comes to boxes.
They want the look and feel.
They want the look and feel. They want it to be a retail experience, like you're on the store shelf and you choose their product versus another. But they want that same or similar.
And what is it? You always know something's going to be good when you have a tuck top die cut.
That's
box,
right. That's
you really do kind of.
You do. Yeah. It's that kind of. Well, you know, what's the number one thing you get in these type boxes? Pizza. Are you ever upset when you open a box of pizza?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's
I don't know if you can compare pizza to like fine jewelry or whatever, but
no.
When you're doing this motion and opening a box, it's a nice experience.
I have a hard time with when I get these sort of things. They always stick around a little longer because I'm like, oh, that's a nice box. Yeah. I'm gonna use that for storage. Yeah, right. I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna have something in there in a week or two, and then and then 4 months later. Yeah.
But really, when you talk about and I'll show this box here to the camera, one of the things that's really changed in the industry is that inside printing ability.
Right.
I would say even 5 to 10 years ago, you saw very few plants and equipment that had the ability to print on the inside of the box. We would print on the outside, flip it over, run it back to the machine, and print it inside.
It'd be a multi-step process.
Now you're seeing more equipment and more people invest, like Premier and equipment that's going to give you that consumer experience.
And that all comes back to experience, right? Or the opening the box.
It does. More and more retailers want a plain outside box. You know, we prettied this up for Premier packaging, but they want a plain or discreet outside of the box, sitting on your front porch or in your mailbox. But then when you open it, they want to be wowed.
Makes sense.
And that's really what we're after. Sense. And now you're seeing multiple colors. You know, it used to be one color, two color. Now we're seeing 3 and 4 colors being able to be offered on the inside. You know, we do. I think of the top 5 retailers, we're doing business at some level with every one of them.
Right.
All 5 of the top 5 have pushed to inside printing in their boxes.
Yep. Nothing on the outside.
Correct.
Very little.
Correct. So
Crazy.
Yeah, it's the corrugated box isn't going anywhere. It's only getting better.
Now that we've unpacked that.
Yes. Let's pack that consumer experience back up.
Cold chain or insulated cooler boxes, kind of corrugated plus, right?
Yes.
I mean, what's that about?
So there is a tremendous amount of movement in the what you could call thermal shipping container world. Of course, and especially during COVID, the home food, meal kit delivery, those type of things went through the roof during grocery delivery, all those type of things. You've got You've got a lot of companies like HelloFresh and Blue Apron and these that have bought additional brands, and they're greatly increasing the amount of delivery. Well, what does that take? If you're going to get something that needs to stay at an ambient temperature, or needs to stay at a certain temperature, or even needs to stay frozen or cold, thermal packaging. Styrofoam coolers have always kind of ruled the roost. They are very efficient, they're light, but they're not very recyclable.
Right.
At least not yet. So that particular industry needs a lot of new packaging, new creativity to have thermal shippers that are recyclable, or at least have more recycled content in them. But there's a lot that's coming out in the industry, and we're a part of that. We're not only working with manufacturers of products and distributing those, but we're also developing our own, from thermal shipping mailers, which is the same concept as here.
Okay.
You're actually creating a thermal mailer that's going to put product in and ship it.
Send me one steak.
Yeah, that's right. For food, no, but you get the vials of drugs, COVID shots, those type of things.
Right. Yep.
Pharmaceutical delivery. Food and pharma is really where the thermal action is happening.
Thinking I fell into a rabbit hole the other day to try to figure out a thank you gift for some folks, and didn't want to just do the general gift basket of processed food. And there's a particular site I'm thinking of where you can order meals from restaurants around the country.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and I can get something from Los Angeles in a couple of days, and it's a steak dinner. I mean, you're paying for it for sure,
right. But you can get whatever your favorite restaurant is around the country. That's where it's gone.
Yeah, amazing.
You know, from, I don't know, meal kits that are kind of pre-prepared and whatnot, and are relatively, produced maybe in a single location, all the way to getting the meal directly from the restaurant that you want. So much is shipping in that regard. So, but you look at the amount of recyclable, or call it green packaging, that is involved in that thermal shipping space. It's very limited. Probably less than 2% of the packages are using packaging materials that are recyclable.
So many are relying on styrofoam still.
Right.
I would assume.
So we are aligning ourselves with manufacturers who are producing, products out of water bottles. This is something that has thermal protection. It's made and extruded out of old water bottles. It recycles as a number one.
That's crazy.
People are starting to grow, and you're
putting
it in a corrugated box.
You're still doing either dry ice or some sort of cold pack.
Correct.
And then this and
gel packs, dry ice, they have a little ways to go when it comes to that. Most of the gel packs and the cooling products are actually keeping it frozen. A lot of them are cut and drained. They're using water or gels or those type of products, and then you're taking that outer poly shell to a store for recycling and those type of things, or unfortunately you're throwing it away. But more and more gel pack products are coming that are recyclable. You're going to cut and drain those gels, and then you're going to put them in your recycle bin.
Okay.
So that's growing along with the cooler space, but it all depends on what you're looking for. If you still need something to stay at a certain temperature for multiple days and ship through the parcel system, you're going to have something pretty robust, like styrofoam or greater. But if you're talking about 24 to 48 hour meal kits and stuff like that, you're beginning to see products on the marketplace that, again, we're supporting.
So we're doing some of that.
We're doing it. Yeah, you can contact Premier, and we can walk you through different options. Plug again.
Yeah.
Walk through different options on your thermal packaging profiles, what you need, help with testing.
This show is for Premier, so you're okay.
I can't plug Premier on a Premier show.
Yeah,
or I can plug Premier.
You can. That's
okay,
the whole
fair enough. You just weren't teeing me up very easily. That's okay.
Look, we were going to do this. I think we've gone through everything, but they had suggested that maybe I stand on and
me take a knee, and we'll just.
So it's not.
Hey, that's better. Can we do this again? Can we start over?
On the Redwood interview show, but no, I thought that was a little silly to be that tall. But you're a commanding presence, so that helps you. That would have helped you with the car sales.
Yeah, it would have.
Probably.
It would have definitely helped.
You would have had
forklift sales. Maybe I could have had the best of both worlds. I could have sold forklifts and driven them around warehouses. That would have been.
I'd buy
exciting.
a Buick. I'd buy a Buick from you. I don't care. Chris,
but not packaging. You wouldn't buy any packaging.
I don't need any packaging.
Well, you work
a bunch in my backyard.
You work for a packaging company.
Yeah.
Fair.
thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Not bad on number 2.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, and it's throwing you on the spot. Last time we talked about obnoxious corporate jargon.
Yes.
And I can't remember all of what we went through. Have you heard anything new lately?
I haven't heard anything.
Do you find yourself in meetings with a bunch of younger people now that we're getting a little older?
Yeah.
Anything that the kids these days are saying that are a little
well,
odd
you'll occasionally get, in the meeting. That's fire, and I being
fire.
an old school guy like me,
Yeah.
I would obviously look for the nearest exit, or if I heard any.
Like, sorry, I'm not going to buy this box. Your quote's a little sus. Do you ever?
Sus and fire, and I'm not
vibing.
I have to talk to my children before I enter into any meeting with anyone under 25 years old these days.
Right.
But yes, I do hear some of those. That's now coming into corporate America. Fire, sus, these are the type things where
it's a brave new world.
It is.
We're
and we need
to be a part of it.
Packaging needs it.
A little infusion of new ideas and
right.
Youth.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Chris. It's been fun. It's
My
always
pleasure.
fun talking to you.
Yeah.
Until next time, everybody, I'm Billy Watkins with the Whole Package by Premier Packaging.
Do you have comments, questions, or ideas about this topic? If so, we'd like to hear from you. Please visit primpack.com/podcast to let us know what you think. Thanks.